Sure. First of all, I want to thank you guys for how you guys have covered us this season. Obviously with Thanksgiving coming up, I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving as you get the chance to spend time with your family and friends. We have a great opportunity this weekend. Obviously, last game for our seniors. Obviously we're disappointed with how we played Saturday for our seniors, but again, the 48-hour rule kicks in, and we're on to preparing, and we've started our preparation for Michigan State. Obviously, Michigan State will be really motivated. They're a game away from gaining bowl eligibility, and so I'm sure we'll get their best. I think it's really important for our team to understand the importance of, one, finishing this season the right way for our seniors, but also trying to utilize it as some momentum as we move forward into next season. And so we've got a good plan putting together right now, and our players have continued to show up and practice, and now the expectation is for them to show up and play the way that they're capable of playing Saturday for our seniors. Our game captains this week will be Antoine Brooks, Ellis McKinney, and Keandre Jones. They'll serve as our game captains for our last game.
Coach, this has been a less than ideal first season here, but as you are building this program, what sort of things are you thankful for as far as how things have developed within the program, as this is step one for you?
Yeah, a lot of people like to call this year one, and I look at it as year zero in that coming in January, and as I said last week, and I really mean it, I'm very thankful for this opportunity to coach the team that I grew up rooting for. There's nothing more important to me than to get this program back to the type of football that our fans and our team and our alums can be really proud of. And I promise you that everything that I continue to do, will be all about building this thing the right way on a really strong foundation. And again, I'm as happy today to be the head coach at the University of Maryland than I was when I took the job. And that's not just coach speak. This is something I'm really passionate about. And we're going to do everything we need to do to get this program going in the right direction, and I feel really confident that we will.
Coach, how have you seen Javon Leake kind of bounce back from what was a difficult performance on Saturday?
Yeah, he came back, I thought, at the end of the game. He was really, really disappointed, obviously, putting the ball on the ground, and the type of season that Javon has had, he has been one of the guys that I have seen really mature and become the type of player and the person that we need our players to be. And so it's disappointing when a guy like that doesn't play to his ability, which we've seen Javon and we know the type of player he's capable of. But, he bounced back and had the big long run there at the end to put points on the board and prevent us from being shut out. So I feel real confident that he'll show up and play very capable of how he's capable of playing.
Shawn Savoy hasn't been on the depth chart in the game the last 2 weeks. Is he okay? And then second part, a little unrelated, are you at all concerned about running back depth with essentially two healthy guys, even though obviously those guys are quite good?
Yeah, Shawn isn't with our program. He's still taking classes. He's finishing up strong. He's not with the program anymore. And again, we thanked him for his contribution, and we wish him well moving forward. As far as the running back depth, it is an issue. We started at that being the strong position for our team with, I thought we were 6 deep when we started this thing, and we've continued to see with injuries and choices that we've been depleted. But we've still got 2 pretty good ones left on the roster that have continued to show up and work, and I'm hoping that we're able to utilize their abilities this weekend to help us get a win.
Going back to Javon, when you looked at tape, what factors do you think contributed to the fumbles?
Obviously wet weather. Going into the game, we knew it would be a wet ball game, and one of the coaching points that we point out quite often when you play in wet weather, we did some wet ball drills during the course of the week, is when in traffic, use the offhand to protect the football. I think there are times when players try to make plays, they become a little unconscious in terms of the ball security part and more conscious on trying to make plays, which I know that's the type of player Javon is. But for the most part, it was the weather played a part, and then just not the great techniques or fundamentals that you need to have when playing in wet weather.
Mike, a little offbeat question, but it's been a weird year in terms of your kicking game. Joseph's only had 4 field goal attempts. There's not many times that you see a team only make 1 field goal. Is it hard to evaluate a kicker in that sort of season? And do you kind of look back and say there really weren't that many opportunities to use the guy given how the course of games went for you?
Well, I mean, obviously, we put ourselves in position during practice opportunities to evaluate them, and I've got a lot of confidence in Joseph Petrino as a kicker. He's done a great job in our practice setups and putting the ball through the goal, and very confident in his leg strength, his accuracy. Has not had the opportunities that you would typically see from a kicker this year, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's very capable.
Coach, how important is it to finish this season strong and play well? And what are you expecting out of Michigan State this weekend?
Again, I think, with Michigan State, they're a game away from bowl eligibility. So I know that for them, they want to send their seniors out the right way, the same way we want ours. And, we talked about it last week. And, again, it was disappointing that we weren't able to do it, play with the type of pride and effort that our seniors deserve. So I know we'll get their best. They're a well-coached team. Coach D'Antonio does a great job in preparing his team. They're tough. They're hard-nosed. We expect them to come in or us to go there and them to try to run the football against us. We're expecting to have a little bit of weather up there again. So it's going to be paramount that we do a good job of protecting the football, trying to establish a run game, and utilizing the clock to try to take advantage of our opportunities.
Mike, two-part question. If this year was year 0, what kind of realistic expectations can you have for year 1 next year? And in relation to that, with what's happened this year, how much more of a challenge is recruiting going to be going forward the next year or 2?
Well, the expectations have been set. We've continued to put the architecture in place for the foundation of this thing to be really strong. We felt good about the short work that we made of a recruiting class in this first season. Recruiting is something that I feel really confident that we'll have the ability to do. We've got a great product to sell, a great conference we play in against great competition week in and week out. The commitment that has been made to the football program in terms of the facilities and the resources that we're moving into here in the next season. So I feel really confident in my ability and our ability to recruit the type of players that we need to get the program going in the right direction. I feel good about the base of what we were bringing in this first season after a short recruiting period. We have players in our program that I think, again, will continue to develop. We've made no doubt about it that for us, we are going to be a program that's fully developmental. Our players have to come in and we have to have the ability to develop them within our system and our program. And again, based on my experience and where I've been the past 3 years with the structure and how we've organized things, it's proven. So it's just now a matter of continuing the development process, getting our team to play with the discipline that it needs to play with, continuing to set the culture in terms of the standard in which we need to play and operate, not just on the football field, but in our day-to-day lives, are going to be really, really important as we move forward. And again, all parts of the organization will be evaluated at the end of the year. We'll make the right decisions that we need to make to keep us moving in the right direction, and I feel really confident about it.
We look at some of the mistakes, whether it's the penalty on the punt or just responding to adversity. As a staff, how do you go about fixing those type things that seem a little more on the mental side of things?
I think we've answered that question a million times because it continues to happen, but it's continuing to work through it. As I've said, I equate coaching to raising kids, and you can tell kids over and over to not do certain things or to do things a certain way, and sometimes the best way of teaching is through their experience. And we've had some not good experiences. You think about Saturday when a young player on third down were able to get off the field, a close game, and we make a bonehead play. And, of course, I guarantee you that he didn't go into the game with the intent of doing it. But these are unfortunately the growing pains that you go through when you play really young players in critical situations. And as we talk about developing them, I promise you he probably won't do the same thing again because he'll know a little different. He'll understand the importance of doing his job and not trying to do too much and work within the framework of what we're asking him to do.
Coach, once Michigan State's said and done, how soon will you turn the page and start looking toward next year and start maybe analyzing the season as a whole instead of just one singular game?
Well, I've got player evaluation set from 8 a.m. Sunday till 4 p.m. on Monday. So when our players have begun signing up for those evaluations, I'll meet independently or individually with our coaches as we get on the road recruiting. We start the recruiting process Sunday with the live period, so I'll be in the office pretty much for a day and a half, putting this season to bed, meeting with each individual player to talk about where they are in our program, the expectations we have moving forward. And again, some guys may decide that this isn't the place that they want to be, and those are the things we'll get answered and take care of during Sunday and Monday. But then from there, it's full speed. You know, we've got a shortened recruiting period before the early signing date, and we'll be full speed ahead. And again, we got off to a good start in recruiting. We've got some really good players that have made decisions to come play here, and we'll go build on that.
Chance Campbell has played every game except for one, started twice. I think he ranks 4th on defense and tackles. Is this what you anticipated from him, and how has he solidified the linebacking core?
Yeah, this is definitely what you saw out of Chance from the day I stepped here on campus all through spring. He's been one of those guys that's a worker. You see him continue to have the right kind of habits and behaviors like we talk about. He's the guy that, when you think about the upper 20% of your team that shows great leadership, which to me is having positive impact on others within the program, he has all those attributes. And so, again, a young player that we've been able to continue to develop, and I've been really happy to see the way he's come along. He's kind of inching toward the finish line, banged up here the last few weeks, but he continues to show up and play with the habits and behaviors that I think will be important for us to move forward as we build this program.
Coach, following up a little bit on your comment about getting together with the players and doing the stuff you have to do at the end of the season, does that include a review of the coaching staff too?
Yeah, as I said, I'll meet with the coaching staff. Obviously, we're on the road recruiting. Every aspect of the program gets evaluated at the end of the season, and coaching staff included. And so I expect to do that during the course of the next couple of weeks while we're out on the road, much like when I talk to the players about expectations, things they do well, things that they need to improve on. We'll do the same thing with the coaching staff and get that done before the signing date.
Mike, in general, how do you evaluate the play of the offensive line this year? I mean, that's tough for some of us to see. Have there been some heroes that maybe we don't know about?
It's been one of the most improved positions because when you look at the way we started and with some of the injuries and some of the things we faced there, you've got a left tackle that and Jalen Duncan that I've seen him improve tenfold in terms of from day one to where he is today. And it's ironic, he came in Sunday to see me and just kind of, it's like one of those aha moments where he kind of said, hey, you know what, Coach, I get it. I'm looking forward to all the things that we continue to talk to him about, but I've seen great improvement from him. A guy like Austin Fontaine, who we moved over from defense, another one of those redshirt freshmen that's continued to improve. So, I mean, that's the one position that going in was a concern. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs with the growing pains that come along with the way we've had to shuffle people in and out of that position. But, again, I think those two kind of stand out as guys that have made really big improvement along with Spencer Anderson.
Coach, what are your expectations for Thanksgiving dinner? Are you concerned about depth with certain sides? Do you script the first 15 bites? We want to know.
Man, really? That's a good one. Well, in my quest of 50 by 50, you know, I'll be 50 years old Christmas Day, and had to adjust my game plan a little bit in terms of how I attack Thanksgiving. I'm going to start off probably with a lot of water early to kind of fill you up. Have opportunity to spend time. Players will come over. My family will be in town. One of the benefits of being back home, I think my house will be the house where we all kind of gravitate toward. It'll be a lot of salad, a lot of mixed veggies, probably not as much carbs in the stuffing, which I love, a little stuffing with lump crab meat kind of thrown in there, kind of a Locksley favorite. But I've had to adjust my game plan with Thanksgiving and as I continue my quest of 50 by 50.